talked about this item in the last two work sessions, and essentially about 10 years ago, we entered an agreement with the Catoosa Utility Department. That agreement was to exist for a 10-year term. At the end of that term, it would continue to be in existence until the earlier of time of which you decide to either create a utility board made up of county representation that would essentially combine all of the utilities in the county, or take an action by the council to terminate our involvement with the utility, with the Catoosa utility. But then that would need unanimous approval by the members of the advisory committee. So really today you're presented with three options. One, do nothing and continue on the course that we're on, essentially table this to a later date, which time you can always exercise the other two options, which is to move to terminate, which would require the unanimous approval of the advisory committee, or to move to start having public meetings to look at setting up a county utility board, a city and county utility board.
I'm not exactly sure what form of motion would be required on this, but I'll make a motion that we continue forward and table this further down the road. That makes.
That's option one.
You just move to table the discussion.
That was option one. Do I hear a second on that?
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I'd like to make a discussion. Whoever drafted that initial contract was pretty slick, because really we don't have any options. If it really comes down to it, because that board's not going to give a unanimous decision to do away with it. And I don't see that we really have, even though it's in the contract, we don't have the right to convene a countywide utility board. I mean, that's got to come from the county executive or the county mayor.
You'd have to have some public meetings, see what the desire was, and get the county on board with it.
The other thing that bothers me about this whole thing, and I have a favorable impression of the existing advisory board, as I do with this council in matters relative to taking care of the customers out there in the utility district. But I also have in the back of my head this thought that we don't know who's going to be here in 10 years on either side. And it bothers me a great deal that the people of Catoosa aren't really represented. Now, the advisory board is doing a good job, but that's not necessarily what will happen down the road as the people get replaced. And I feel firmly that the correct thing to do for the people in the long run is that the people of Catoosa Utility District have some say on voting for a representative that represents them. And so what we have now is Catoosa does not have a voting member. The advisory board will advise us, but they don't have any say who sets up with this board and makes a decision, and that bothers me. And that's all I'll say on that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Sousa?
Aye.
Councilmember Wyatt?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Harris?
Aye.
Councilmember Curley? Mayor Mayberry?
Aye. Item number 8, city attorney.